Awesome. Hello, everybody. Thank you all for joining. I'm just going to sit on here and I'm going to get some work done for school and get everything, start getting things done. But I wanted to hop on here and give everyone a chance if they wanted to reach out and ask questions to a congressional candidate in Kentucky, the chair of the Democratic Rural Council, and a local city commissioner. If you wanted to jump on and ask him some questions. So, oh, it's very bright, very bright. Give me just a second. My computer is being really slow right now. I don't know what it's doing. Of course, technical issues. There we go. All right. Yes. So if you jump in, thank you for joining. My name's William Compton. I'm running for Congress here in Kentucky's 2nd Congressional District. And now is the chance that you have to let me hear your concerns, to ask me any questions, and to hear about what I want to do when I run for Congress in Washington. So this is trying to see how I can add people on here. This is one of the first times I've done a live, so it's not on here. Let's see. Let's see. Why is the moderation settings not working very well? Okay, so yeah, thank you all, everyone, for joining. Again, my name is William Compton. I am a public school teacher in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I'm running for Congress here in Kentucky's 2nd Congressional District against Chairman Brett Guthrie. He is the chairman of the Energy and Commerce Committee, and he is the one responsible for any cuts to Medicaid that we're seeing in the one big ugly budget bill. So that is Brett Guthrie in charge of that. So I am running against him. And now is the chance for you to ask me questions about my campaign. We'll tell you 3 big things that I want to focus on. Affordable health care. I am a big proponent of Medicare for all. It is way cheaper than our current healthcare system, and it will make sure that everyone has access to health care. So I'm a big fan of Medicare for all, and fully funding our public schools. You know, I'm a public school teacher myself. I teach string orchestra in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I truly believe that having a fully funded public school system is key to a better future for our nation, and that's making sure that our teachers have the pay that they deserve. We see all across America, teachers are getting paid far less than what they deserve and what they're doing and for the job. And then we need to make sure that we have funds available to everybody, including our special needs children, making sure that they have what they need to be successful themselves. And then we need to make sure to lower grocery store prices, stop this corporate price gouging that we're seeing, and lower the prices for everyday working American. Those are my 3 big things. And those are 3 things that I'm focusing on here in rural Kentucky. So I appreciate all of you all who are jumping in. I will say, I don't know how to jump in and get people on the stream, but trying to figure out how to do that. This is one of my first times doing it live, so I apologize. Let's see. Moderation settings. Oh, why am I sharing live? So, thank you all for those who are joining. If you're someone who's very tech savvy and you would want to help figure out how to get the lives to pop up for people to join, please let me know. I would love for people to come up and actively speak with me about my platform, or you can just type in the chat. I would love to hear from you all. So, but yeah, welcome everybody. So I hope everyone's having a good day. I know across Kentucky we're having some storms going across the state, and I know that we've had some areas with possible flooding issues. So if you're in any of those areas, please stay safe. Please make sure that you are staying dry. Make sure if there's water on the roads, don't cross them, please, and just be safe with that. And Kels, thank you for liking the live, and thank you for sharing it. I'm so glad you're here. And Levi, thank you for sharing it as well. So, oh my, Levi. Thank you, Levi, for all of the shares. I truly appreciate it. And thank you, Gunkle. So, what is one policy issue that you would love to hear me talk about, or something that you would want to hear my stance on? So, if you have one, please drop in the chat. I do want to give a little information about the 2nd Congressional District. So here in Kentucky, we have 6 congressional districts. The 3rd district is one that a lot of people in Democratic circles know very well, and it is the city of Louisville, Kentucky. And that's really what they've done. They've just gerrymandered just the city of Louisville, Kentucky into its own district. Then you have the 4th district, which is held by Thomas Massey. That is right above Louisville, and that's the northern Kentucky part of the state. And then you have the Lexington area. That is Andy Barr, who's running for state Senate or U.S. Senate this time. And then you have Hal Rogers in the 5th district, Eastern Kentucky. And then 1st and 2nd district are the two weird ones. If you look at the map of Kentucky, the 1st district starts far western Kentucky and kind of comes over, and you're like, okay, this isn't gerrymandered. And then it scoops around the 2nd district and goes up to our state capital, Frankfort. And so they gerrymandered the district to make sure that James Comer lives in the 1st congressional district. And so I have the huge chunk in the middle. Literally, the 1st district is literally to the west, south, and east of my district. It's insane here. But our district spans 20 counties in Kentucky out of our 120 counties, 17 full counties, 3 partial counties. So far in my campaign, I have been to 14 of the 20. After Tuesday, I will be through 15 of the 20 and still working on getting to the other 5 soon. So it's a very massive district. It's a district that has been labeled as not viable district for Democrats. And I just want to let that stereotype kind of fall to the wayside, because this district is completely viable for Democratic candidates. Governor Andy Beshear, which if you don't know Andy Beshear, you need to make sure you know Andy Beshear. He's the two-term governor, and then he won a state race before that for Attorney General of Kentucky as a registered Democrat. And he got about 43% of the votes here in my district. And that's just campaigning in the 2 largest counties in our district. Imagine what you can do when you have a candidate here that is campaigning in every single county across the district, all 20 counties. This district is completely winnable. But we've had a Democratic candidate the last 4 cycles who, after the primary, would look at voters and tell them there's no way we can win this district, and there's no way that we are ever going to flip this seat. And that's why this district hasn't done well. So I want to destroy that mindset of there's no way Democrats can win here, because Democrats can win in every district in the entire United States. We just have to have the right candidates who are willing to put forward the time, candidates who are willing to fight for what the people want in their congressional district. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I've held 4 public town halls with 2 more that I'm not holding, but I'm co-sharing with a state candidate in the next week. And I have, like I said, been out to 14 of the 20 counties in just 2 months, campaigning and reaching Democratic voters. So this campaign is doing something that hasn't been done in quite a long time, and that's reaching voters. We have even started consistent phone banking to reach Democratic voters here, and it's been fantastic. But we're doing something that hasn't been done in Kentucky, 2nd District, and we're going to make history in 2026 when we retire Brett Guthrie, and we are going to get rid of the incumbent for the first time since 1980s. So, I'm sorry, 1880s. I had the wrong year. But the last time an incumbent was beat in this district was in the 1800s. So we are going to do something that hasn't been done in almost 200 years, and that's get rid of Brett Guthrie, because it is time for a new voice in Washington. A little bit more about my race, about myself. Again, I'm 31 years old. I'm a public school teacher. I teach string orchestra, so violin, viola, cello, double bass in my public schools. I'm going on my first decade in public schools, and because I'm there, they are the reason that I'm running for this seat. I started seeing everything happening from Breonna Taylor case in Louisville to all of the injustices just across America, George Floyd and everything that went on. And I came into school, and I remember looking at my students one morning, and I remember looking at them going, it could be any one of these students in any of those situations that we've seen over the last couple years, any of these injustices that have happened over these last couple years. And it just broke my heart. So I decided that we needed someone to step up and be a voice for them, someone who's going to fight for a better future for them. And we haven't seen that from our current representative. And so they're the reason why I'm running. They really are. We need to make sure that we fight for a better future for them. And that's all that I'm doing, is fighting for a better future for my students. So that's just a little bit about me. I would love to answer any questions anyone has as you pop in. This is your chance. What do you want a congressional candidate to know? What do you want them to answer? It's not very often that we have people running for Congress, or that we have, when I get elected, I'll be doing this same thing as well, asking for your opinion. And I might be from Kentucky, but I will be voting on everything that affects you, no matter where you are. So now's your chance to ask me a question. I would love to answer it. And I would love to be a voice for everybody, not just people in my district, but the working people all across the United States, because that's what we need. So feel free to ask any question. I'll answer any question whatsoever. And also, by the way, Gunkel, thank you so much for all the hearts. Levi, thank you for all the shares. I appreciate you all so much. So much. So, Hamo, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. I hope I said your name right. And if I didn't, I apologize. I'll blame the teacher and me. I really do wish I knew how to add in. Let's see, I don't want that. anyone who joined, if you're tech savvy, I would really appreciate your help. How do I get it to where people can request to join the live? That is my biggest issue right now. I'm not sure how to do that. And who knows, I might not be able to on here. I'm using a streaming software to stream both here and YouTube at the same time. So, but thank you all for everyone who is watching. I truly appreciate you all. I truly do. So I hope everyone's having a good day so far. And I will say it is really cool to be able to fight for people here in Kentucky. I said earlier, a lot of people like to throw this district to the wayside, throw a lot of Kentucky to the side because they say, oh, that's a Republican state. They're always going to vote Republican, but that's actually not true. There was a time when this state was a majority Democrat rules, and it has just flipped in the last decade and a half to Republicans. So I think it's time that we start having people, start having Democrats in charge here as well. The Democrats who are fighting for the working people in the district. So I'm probably going to say your name wrong, but Tina, thank you for joining. If I said it wrong, I apologize. So what are y'all's thoughts on anyone joining? Let me ask you, what are y'all's thoughts on everything going on with the Epstein files? I mean, and I'll tell you this, my thoughts are it needs to, Tina, oh my gosh, thank you for correcting me. I appreciate it so much. Tina, glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. But I just want to say with these Epstein files, and we're getting more and more information about them every day, and it becomes a little bit more scandalous. But I'm a firm believer, share the files. If there's a Democrat on there, if there's a Republican on there, hold them accountable. I don't care. If they're on that list, hold them accountable, because what they did when they were on that island with Jeffrey Epstein is horrendous, and we need to hold everyone accountable. So I'm all for making sure that we release the information and let the American people see who was there and see who is on that list, because we got to hold them accountable. We cannot have them go scot-free at all. So, and it's sad that we have members of our Congress who are trying to hide that information from us. My opponent as well. He has been radio silent on this. And that is, again, that is a lack of leadership that we have in Washington. It is a lack of someone who really wants to, who really should be the one leading the charge, fighting for transparency. And we're not seeing that from him. So I truly believe we should release that list. So, all right. So now's your chance. If you want to ask a congressional candidate a question, I would love to answer it. It can be a policy question. It can be just a random question. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to answer any question from any of you all. So a moment ago, I was asking y'all's opinion on the Epstein files. If you're in here and you want to put that in the chat, let me know what you feel about the Epstein files. Let me know how you feel. Should it be released? Should it not be? I'm a firm believer that it should be, and we should hold all of them accountable. So, and then I also want to ask anyone in the chat, what are your thoughts on the budget bill that was passed? How do y'all feel about how it was passed and how it was done quickly, and how the fact that the bill was almost 1,000 pages long in its final form, and it was passed very quickly. So, what are y'all's thoughts on that? So, oh man, no thoughts on it. I don't care who or every single one of these. Amen to that. Amen. Again, I don't care. I agree with you, Tina. It doesn't matter who is it, but if they're on that list, they need to be held accountable. Exactly. And that's what makes me a little bit different than a lot of the people who have ran here before. We have a lot of people on the Democratic Party who wants to kind of shield Democrats when they do wrong, and that's not right. I am all for what's right and what's wrong. And if you do something wrong, you need to be held accountable for that. I don't care what party you're in. We've got to stop this shielding each other when you do wrong just because of your party. We've got to hold each other accountable. So I'm a completely different kind of candidate here. I'm all for what's right, all for what's helping people, and I'm not a party over people. I'm not that kind of candidate. Yeah, I'm the reverse, people over the party. And that's what I'm doing when I'm campaigning. I'm making sure that I listen to the people, listen to their concerns, and I fight for them. And that's what we need in Washington every step of the way. So, exactly, Tina, exactly. I will say my Republican opponent, Brett Guthrie, he is the chairman of the Energy and Commerce Committee. And so he is responsible for energy prices. He is responsible for making sure that America is working to have affordable energy and all of that stuff. And in the budget bill, it makes me really angry with their energy part of the bill, that not only did he work to make Medicaid cuts, because that's also under the Energy and Commerce Committee, but when it comes to the energy portion of that bill, we're going to see energy prices all across America skyrocket. How does that work with? Oh my gosh, I have a giant heart that's over the C word. I'm assuming, how does that work with cooperative? Is that correct? My screen, I have a giant heart over it, so I can't see the rest of that word. Co-op, yes, okay. So essentially what it is, it's supposed to allow for co-ops to find ways to have the ability to create more energy, to get the energy they need to supply to the areas. And so that's part of the Energy and Commerce Committee. Like some areas use natural gas, some areas still use coal, some areas they're looking at transforming to solar and wind power, things of that nature. And so that's what Energy and Commerce Committee, that's part of their scope, is making sure that each area has the ability to produce the energy for the people that they serve. And so in this bill, what it has done is it's made it harder for the areas who use stuff that's other than natural gas and coal. And it's making it harder for like solar, for wind, and things of that nature to fix any problems that they have. Because I know solar and that stuff, it's a little bit newer. It's a lot newer than natural gas and coal. And so there are still kinks being worked out. But it's making that a lot harder for them. And of course, we have the added tariffs on everything that's raising prices. And so this bill, it's just going to cause the co-ops to have to, it's going to cause them to struggle to get the energy they need to supply to the people they service. That's true. That is true. And I know before this bill, they were actually giving credits to co-op to help them if they were starting to accept solar energy and wind energy and greener energy things. And now they've gotten rid of those credits. They've gotten rid of everything to help with those. So we're going to start seeing a lot of energy prices rise. And I mean, here in Warren County, I actually looked at my energy bill, and then I looked at my energy bill last year at the same time. Temperatures were around the same, but my energy bill is already going up, getting higher. I'm not using more energy, but the prices are already going up. And it's just insane. But we're seeing those energy prices. And I also want to say with solar energy, I am a big fan of solar energy. In our congressional district, we actually have one of the nation's first net zero school, a rural school. It's called Richardsville Elementary School. And for over a decade, actually longer than a decade, almost 2 decades now, they have had the infrastructure on this building to power the school with solar panels. And they produce so much energy that actually our electric company here, they pay them over $36,000 a year in just the energy that they help produce for our electric company. And we haven't had any big issues here as far as renovations. And the only issue they had when they were creating it was the upfront cost of getting it put in. And so it's been very helpful in that area. Mine is about 700 monthly if I run AC. So non-portable went down to about, okay. Yeah, I don't live I'm not sure how big your house is, Tina, but my house is actually kind of a smaller house here in the district. And I'm very fortunate. Mine only runs anywhere from 100 to 150 monthly. But last year it was about 75 monthly. And then for some reason now it's just jumped up to 125, 150 just out of the blue. And we're not running electricity so much. 2,000 square feet. Yeah, mine's about, oh Lord, mine's close to that. I have like 1,600 square feet. So not too big of, too much of a difference. But no, that Richardsville Elementary School has proven that we can have renewable energy in rural areas. And in fact, I would love to see that model with that public school. I would love to see on government buildings them using those solar panels to help supply the energy for those buildings to give back to the energy co-ops in the areas and to help mitigate those energy costs. I would love to see that. It's been working well here. And if it can work well here, it can work well in a lot of areas. Rural, very rural. So Tina, I'm probably right there in the same boat. My area is actually a little bit more suburban instead of rural. But where I grew up in a place called Rocky Hill, Kentucky. And it's literally, it's so rural. I kid you not, I would walk outside and I would hear banjos outside from my neighbors where they would just go outside and play banjos. So I understand the rural part very well. And these areas, the rural areas are so beautiful. I loved to live growing up in that rural area in Rocky Hill. I loved it. It was so peaceful too. Way in the hills. Yes, those are the best. We lived on top of a really massive hill in Rocky Hill. So we never had to worry about flooding. We never had to worry if we had tornadoes in the area because we were at the top of the hill. We never had a tornado touch down up there. And like I said, it was just so peaceful living in that area. I mean, I would come home from school as a kid. And of course, we all know teenagers get angry at their parents 24/7. It feels like, at least. And I would get mad at my parents or my older sister, and I would just walk to the creek near my house, put some music on, walk to the creek in my house with earbuds in and just listen to music and relax. And in those areas, you can do that. Amazing areas. The stain of our country will say solar causes brain damage. Sorry, not so. Yeah, there are. So in my congressional district, we're actually having a lot of heated battles regarding solar energy. We have a couple counties that they're wanting to put solar farms on, and well, actually three now that they're wanting to put solar farms on. Two of the three, I can see some of the arguments on the other side. You know, they're saying things like we're taking up farmland to put the solar panels, and in two of the areas, I can see that we do need our farmland. Our farmers are very important to our economy, making sure we have all of our products. So I can see that. But the third one that was just recently announced was built on an area that no crops could be planted because of former coal mining operations. And so that area is just sitting there with no use whatsoever as far as agriculture. And I'm not sure why they keep saying that that's farmland when it's not. But in areas like that, I think having a solar farm is perfect. It helps make sure that we use that resource. But yeah, we're having those battles here. And solar energy can be so helpful. And I mean, we're hearing from the right, big busted bill. Yeah, Tina, ask away. But I will say the right wants to talk about being energy independent. And I think having solar energy, having wind energy, and finding those energy sources that we can make here in America is how we become energy independent. You know, that's something that we have big issues with, according to Republicans, is having that energy independence. So why don't we pave the way for that? Make people come to America to figure out how are they getting all of their energy from solar? How are they getting all their energy from this? So that's, I feel like, a way that we can become energy independent. But yeah, Tina, ask away. I would love to hear your question about I love how you called it the big busted bill. I like to call the bill the reverse Robin Hood because I believe it steals from the poor and gives to the rich. So for those of you who are just joining, my name is William Compton. I'm running for Congress in Kentucky's 2nd Congressional District. I'm running against Representative Brett Guthrie, who is the chairman of the Energy and Commerce Committee. And Tina, your question, are people already losing their money in Medicaid? And if so, what resources can we get to help them? We have, even before the budget bill was passed, we've started seeing people losing Medicaid. I have a friend who works with a company that helps process Medicaid and Medicare claims. And as the bill was being proposed, we actually saw, and this was someone in Texas who called her, and he said that he was denied Medicaid. He was on it, and they kicked him off because they said he was able-bodied, and he had had a stroke about a year ago and was having struggle moving. So they are already starting to kick people off of Medicaid. But the effects from this bill, when it comes to Medicaid, the biggest amount of effects we're going to see will not happen until the end of 2026 and beginning of 2027. So they put in a delay in this bill to make sure that after the midterm elections, that's when we're going to see the biggest amount of cuts. And so, yes, we're seeing some people losing that, but the biggest majority will not be losing their health care until that 26, 27 area. And so as far as resources that we can get to help them, just make sure that they have make sure they have everything ready to go as far as paperwork, especially when the work requirements start becoming more stringent. Make sure that they have access to medicine. And if they don't, we need to there are a lot of nonprofit organizations all across America that has started jumping in and helping cover costs for needed medicine. Um, I'm working on getting a list of resources for people who lose their health care, and I'm going to start blasting it out on my social media for people all across America. Um, we're seeing in a lot of the rural areas here in Kentucky, we're starting to see food banks being utilized more often now because they've lost money and they've started losing the funds to buy groceries versus healthcare. And so, if you can, giving money to local food pantries, to areas of that nature, those are some resources that we can get to help them right now. Um, but yes, some people are losing money. Some people are already losing Medicaid, but we will see the vast majority of them happening at the end of 26, beginning of 2027. So, talked with someone today from Pennsylvania that lost all their benefits but couldn't find any. Our food banks are closed till. Oh, that's awful. I I hate to hear that so much. Um, I have a couple friends who are running for Congress in Florida, and I'm going to reach out to them, and I'm going to see if they have any areas, any suggestions in their areas could help with that as well. I will. I actually have a lot of friends who are running for office in Florida, so I will get that list together and I will share that out as soon as I do. So I know one of them. His name is Bernard, and he's running for Congress. Go find him. Amazing human being. Elijah Manley, he is running for Congress. He is very helpful. Of course, Maxwell Frost is already in Congress in his area. Those are some good people to reach out to in Florida. I love it. Love it. So, but I know here in Kentucky, and Josh is great. If I'm not mistaken, isn't he running for Senate this time? Josh. Awesome. He is amazing. There's so many amazing candidates running all across Florida and all across America, and what we need to do is we need to do everything we can to lift them up. Uh, I know times are tough. I really do, but a lot of candidates, the best way to do it is to, if you can, just even $1 donating to their campaign and encouraging everybody to do that. Uh, that's the biggest way to help all of these candidates, because if we don't make that change and we don't get them elected, then got it with no campaigning. That's awful. That is awful. And we had a lot of that happening last cycle here in Kentucky too. Uh, in Bowling Green, we had an amazing mayor candidate. Her name is Patty Minter. She is amazing. She was in our state house. They gerrymandered her out of her seat, and so she ran for Bowling Green mayor. She put in work for months in the Bowling Green area, and her opponent, he was the mayor currently, so he was the incumbent, and he literally put up 2 billboards before the race, went to a couple debates with her, and that was all the campaigning he did. And he barely squeaked by and won on that, which made me so mad because hello, Annabelle. But he hasn't been very good for this area. And so, exactly, when one door closes, another opens, and that's what Patty Minter. She's leading our Democratic Party here in Warren County, and she is fighting to get more Democrats on the ballot, fighting to get more Democrats elected. So, but well, we had that happen a lot last cycle. And I'll let everyone know this race, this cycle is different than any other cycle because not only is my opponent in a position where he's vulnerable now as the chairman, but everything we're seeing with these Epstein files, everything we're seeing with the budget bill, everything we're seeing where here in Bowling Green, we had a young man who was taken by ICE illegally, and the people of Bowling Green asked for our representative to stand up and fight for him to come back. And instead of coming out and speaking with everybody, he joined our live stream of the event and watched to see what everyone else was doing instead of manning up and coming out and speaking to his constituents. So here I am giving him a run for his money. And I'm making sure that we hold him accountable. And I will say, in Florida, I'm not too savvy on who's running against Josh for Senate. I just know that Josh has my full support. He really does. So, release the files, justice for the victims, agreed, 100%. 100%. But yeah, so any other questions? Feel free to answer any more questions about what's going on. So, but I have a feeling the midterms is going to be good for Democrats this time. With everything going on, we're going to flip these seats and we're going to have a massive majority in the House. A majority is going to fight for working people. And that's what I'm doing here in Kentucky every step of the way. And it's needed. It really is. So, well, I am going to go on ahead here in a moment and close off this live. Thank you for everyone who has joined this live. I truly appreciate you all. If any of you would like to contact me afterwards or would like to see more about my campaign, please visit my website at williamcompton.com. Please visit that website and share my campaign far and wide. If you have any questions, you can send them on that website. I will answer them as soon as I get them. Even if you don't live in my district, I am here to listen to everybody. So please reach out if you need anything or if you need help finding information for anything. Again, share the campaign out and have to plug it if you can. Please consider asking people to help our campaign by donating, even if it's just $1. If we can get, and here's the frustrating thing here in Kentucky, in order for me to get onto my public access television station here in Kentucky, we have to raise $100,000 for our campaign just to be on our public access television station. So if we can get to that point and get to it quickly, then we can do something this district has not had in a long time, and that's someone holding our Republican incumbent accountable. He's been able to just slide by over the last 10 years and pretty much run unopposed. He did have a Democratic candidate on the ballot, but that candidate never held him accountable. So it's been pretty much just him running unopposed. So we need to hold his feet to the fire, and we're going to flip this seat. So appreciate you, Tina, so much. I'm going to try and make sure that I do live videos more often. Some of them will be in this format. Some of them will be on my phone, and it might even be me in my car. So yes, make it make sense. We are going to flip this seat, even in Kentucky's 2nd district. But I need your help if we're going to do it. I need you to share our information out and convince people to donate even just $1 to our campaign. Because I'm a public school teacher. I don't come from a wealthy family. I come from a normal working class family. And I don't take corporate PAC money. I don't take APAC money. All of my donations are coming from the people that I'm going to represent. So please ask anyone you can to help donate to our campaign. Because it's also time we get working people elected, more working people, and not the wealthy elites. So I appreciate you joining. Make it make sense. I really do. Before I go, is there a policy question that you would like me to answer, or anything you would want to ask before I go? And if you think of, thank you so much for the heart. I appreciate it. I really do. So if you can think of something that you would want to ask me, where do I stand on this, or how I think we can fix X, Y, and Z, please reach out as well. I will say also this too before I go. Another thing, so I mentioned earlier a couple things. One, having affordable health care, Medicare for all, is one of the big things that I want to fix. Having a strong, fully funded public education system all across America. With me being a public school teacher, I fully believe we need a stronger public school. We need to have more support for our public schools. And then lowering prices at the grocery store. Stop the corporate price gouging that we're seeing that are raising prices. Those are my big three. But I also want to say campaign refinance. We need to make sure that people can run for office and they don't have to in the future ask everybody for money every other video, to where you don't have to pay an arm and a leg and your next unborn child to run for Congress. So fixing that system and getting dark money out of our elections, that is a big one. I actually, before I go, I had a campaign consultant who reached out to me, and she asked me, well, do you need any help with your campaign? I said, yes, I need help fundraising. I need help getting money for the campaign. And she said, well, if you pay me $3,000 a month, I'll help you. And which is insane to me. And I said, no, I don't have that money. You can't do it. And her response was, well, just take out a loan. Just take out a loan and you can hire me. And I was like, no, I'm not going to take out a loan to run for Congress. You shouldn't have to go into debt to run for Congress like that. And it just blew my mind that was her first response, was take out a loan. So that is another big thing, though, getting dark money out of and ending Citizens United, and making it more affordable for working class people to be elected. So those are big points for the campaign. So I appreciate you being here. I plan to have a lot more lives in the future, and we are going to flip Kentucky's 2nd Congressional District. We are going to flip it in the next election, and it's going to take help from every one of you all. So thank you for joining, and share our campaign and help convince people to donate to our campaign and to get a true working Kentuckian elected to Washington. So thank you for joining, and I'm going to end the live here. Thank you.